All right, good morning, seventh graders, or afternoon. We are going to continue working towards getting to the point where we can solve systems of equations today. But before we can get to that, which actually we'll do that tomorrow, we'll start with some of that. We are going to solve some equations today, and we're going to solve for the letter y. So really we want to get y by itself. So I'm going to show you some examples of that. It should be pretty short and sweet. We're just trying to isolate the y, and we need y completely by itself because that is going to help us tomorrow when we move into solving systems of equations, and we're going to solve them by substituting it. So you'll see what I mean on that tomorrow, but we have to know how to solve for y first. So here is the first couple of examples. We just want to solve the following equations for y. So kind of like what we did yesterday, we can see that y is not by itself, okay? And we want to get this variable of y isolated. So I'm going to draw my line down the middle. In this case, I'm going to divide by 8. Divide by 8, and we end up with y equals x divided by 8. And that would be how we leave our answer. Now, you might not understand why we want our answers like that yet, but typically when we see equations, we always see them as y equals something. Notice that we have two variables. So we're going to be solving systems of equations for both variables. Typically, we have just solved for x or solved for y. Now we're going to be able to find out what x and y both equal. Okay, the second one, again, we want to get y by itself. So we want to be able to get this all alone. Okay, we see that it says plus 4x. So that means I want to minus 4x from both sides. Okay, these then cancel. And I have y by itself. So y equals 1 minus 4x. Now, another way you could write that is y equals negative 4x, because that minus sign is attached to the 4. The 1 is positive, so we could say negative 4x plus 1. Either one of these answers would be correct. I just wanted to show you both ways of writing them. Okay, we're going to do two more quick examples. Number 3 looks kind of strange. Okay, we want to solve for y, and it kind of looks like y is by itself, but it's not because of this negative sign out here. Now remember, there is a 1 in front of that y even though we don't see it. So to get y by itself, we want to divide by negative 1. So we have y equals 11 divided by negative 1. And 11 divided by negative 1 is negative 11. So there's our answer. Okay, and number 4, again, wanting to get y by itself. Okay, we have 3y equals 15x. We need to divide by 3. So we have y equals 15x divided by 3. Well, we can actually divide the 15 and the 3, so you get y equals 5x. Okay, now I do want to just add one more example on here. Let's add an example 5. Example 5. Okay, and let's say that this one is 2y equals 8x plus 12. Okay, now we can solve that for y. Okay, right, we want to get the y by itself. So we are going to divide by 2. Now you have to remember that this entire thing is getting divided by 2. So each term has to be divided by 2. So we would have y equals 8x divided by 2 is 4x. And 12 divided by 2 is 6. So y equals 4x plus 6, because both terms need to be divided by 2. Okay, on your homework tonight, you're going to do a few problems of the same type of thing. You're just solving the equation for y. You're trying to isolate the y and get that by itself. When you are finished with that, you're done for the day. Tomorrow, we're going to start solving some systems of equations. We'll spend a few days on that. So we'll just take it very slowly, one step at a time. So focus on that assignment tonight. It will be a CAMI assignment again, where you are showing your work. You'll get 1 point for your work and 1 point for the answer. Do your very best. Have a great day, you guys.